What's going on, everyone? Anthony here with AC Toys, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to be reviewing the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Power Rangers Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Metallic Rangers. Now, if you remember, 1 year ago to this month, they released the Metallic Pink Ranger as a single release for their exclusive. No other Rangers in that set. They just released Catherine. Maybe it was testing the waters. I don't know. But this year, 1 year later, they released the remaining core Rangers. So you have the Mighty Morphin Black Ranger, Blue Ranger, Yellow Ranger, and Red Ranger. For you inbox collectors, this is probably going to annoy you just a bit. I put Catherine back in her box just so you could see. Catherine is the only one with her head sculpt on the figure. So for you like mint inbox collectors, this could bother you if you display them like this and not just, you know, bookshelf style. Bookshelf style, it probably won't bother you too much, but if you display them out, that's going to be kind of annoying because, like, for whatever reason, either they forgot or they just didn't want to. I don't know. They put the civilian heads on the sides, which kind of weirded me out anyways. It always weirded me out because, like, you just got like this decapitated head sitting in there, but that's neither here nor there. I know a lot of people are saying, you know, just take it out and put the Catherine head vice versa, but honestly it doesn't work out because of her hair sculpt. I tried putting it in there. It did bend the hair a little bit. You could probably cut out slits in the bottom if that's how you want to do it. Or I know some people say just put the helmets on the figures, but Aisha's hair is so long, I don't think that would work. Maybe I'll test it out and see. But I think her helmet sculpt is too wide compared to her face sculpt, so that might not even fit in there. Either way, moral of the story is open your toys. Anyways, I rambled on long enough. So you have the same box art style as the original core Rangers. Nothing's changed except for the glittery material on the figures themselves. So you have the window boxes, obviously, that you've been staring at. You have these side art boxes, which continues that glitteriness if you wanted to see how it looks like with Catherine. There is the core Rangers itself. Then on the back, you have the 3D renderings of each figures. Now, it is kind of a shame because it looks like yellow and red are a lot more clear than they are. I think it would have been really, really cool if all of them were like this really clear translucent plastic. Obviously, they are not, or they just maybe sprayed the paint too heavily. We will get a closer look at that. But yeah, legalese at the bottom. No need for the barcodes because you guys can't find these in store anyways, at least on the US. Normal box art on the side without the Power Rangers logo. Oops, there it is like that if you want to see all five. So, what do you say we crack these guys open and see how cool they actually are? Alright guys, so here we have the first figure out of packaging, and it is the Metallic Black Ranger Adam. Now, fair warning, this is definitely going to be one of my longer review videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to review each figure in depth with the accessories that they come with. And then towards the very end, I'll break down the articulation and the scaling because they're basically all the same after that. But I'm still going to rush through these real quick because they're not really that new of figures. Only some of them come with extra accessories that we haven't seen before. So with that being said, I am going to leave links down in the description below on which timestamps you need to go to see which Rangers you want to see specifically. So we're starting off with Adam here. And before we start off with Adam, what do you say we go ahead and take a look at his accessories? So obviously, he comes with his two kind of grippy hands on him out of packaging. He also comes with his blade blaster in the gun form. So nothing new there. This is kind of a disappointment. This would have been the one time we could finally get holstered versions of the weapons. So that would have been nice. I know, like most people say, if there's only a choice between one or two, they prefer this one because, you know, it's a gun, it can be holstered. But since we already received this one so many different times, it just would have been nice to finally receive that holstered version that came with the Comic-Con exclusive way back when. Also, the new accessories that he comes with that wasn't seen before are these kind of like open grippy hands that we finally got, so he can finally hold the other accessory that he comes with, and that is the kind of like I guess, well, I don't know what you would call this. I don't know guns very well. The cocking mechanism. So you can finally have one that grips it just fine without having to use the older style hands and stretching it out. So it's nice that he can finally hold this in place, and it wraps around this very, very nicely. So he comes with either a left or a right, depending on how you want him to hold the axe. So that's very nice. And then, of course, he comes with his power axe and a very nice metallic-y black paint scheme. It's not translucent that I am aware of. But it is painted in a very nice black paint. You have the Mastodon symbol right there. It does slide up and down like the previous axes. I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't know that. It does slide up and down. That has been a thing for a very long time now, but some people are still just kind of figuring it out. So you can have it in axe mode or blaster mode, and then it is ready to combine with the weapons. And then once again, he comes with the little blast effect that he comes with on the other two previous ones in a kind of like clearish blue, light clearish blue. I don't know if this is the same one. I think this is a little bit lighter than the previous one. This one doesn't really fit as well as the others, but there you go. Pretty cool blast effect. I like the idea of this one. I just don't like the execution because it really weighs down the figure. If you leave this on in a pose position, eventually it'll drag it down. So I tend to leave this one off. And then the last accessory he comes with is nothing new. It is his face sculpt or head sculpt, which is the same exact one we've gotten before. Let me go ahead and pull that one on. So there is basically absolutely no difference between the head sculpts. They are exactly the same. Honestly, if anything, I feel like the newer head sculpt is just slightly smaller. That's kind of weird. So they might have downsized it a little bit. Not sure what's going on here. Might just be my eyes playing tricks on me, but I don't know. You guys let me know. It kind of looks smaller, right? Like this is the new one. This is the old one. I don't know. It looks a tad bit smaller. Anyways, so if you guys want to see what it looks like on him, there we go. It looks exactly the same because these are the exact same body molds as we've received multiple times, just done in a nice pearlescent black. So there you go. The only thing new about him is the head sculpt, but we will get into that once we get into details. So yeah, that is all the accessories he comes with. So let's take a closer look at the details of this figure. So a quick interjection before I start with the details of the figure. Almost forgot, the extra accessory that he comes with is the Zeo Ranger 4 Power Crystal. As you can see here, it is the rectangle shape. Very nicely done. It is done in that same clear, like glow-in-the-dark material that they use for Catherine's Zeo Crystal. So, I mean, I don't remember the exact shape. I don't know if this was the cutout that they had or if it's designed to like maybe fit into like a platform later on, maybe released with Tommy, who knows. But this does glow in the dark all the same. I will show that towards the end. But just a quick add that he does come with his Zeo Crystal too. Just kind of port that in the hand if you want to hold it, or if not, don't lose it. Now we get into the details of this figure. So taking a closer look at the details of this figure, obviously you have his head sculpt right here. This is the new one. That's how he looks. It's a really good head sculpt. I'm not complaining that's the exact same. If you guys do want to see it for comparison, here it is with the old one. So as you can see here, here's the old one. Oh, that's the helmet. Here's the new one. Exact same, like, maybe this one's just slightly lighter in color. I don't know. I still feel like it's also smaller. Anyways, so that's what he looks like. And then here we have it with the new helmet. I believe these new helmets sit a little bit higher on the ball peg. So it finally gives you that neck look going on right there. So just to do a quick comparison, here he is next to the standard regular release Black Ranger. Yeah, it does sit a little bit higher, maybe not much, if anything, but what you guys really want to see is this new helmet sculpt. So with this new helmet sculpt, you have the Mastodon here with the slimmer visor. So you can really tell right there. So you have the slimmer visor and the smaller tusk, which is more screen accurate. But for whatever reason, they opted to go for a more yellowish gold paint for the eyes. And so where like this one was gold on the original release, and I think this one's more screen accurate, but the overall shape of this is more screen accurate on the new one. They didn't paint in the silver linings here, so that is a bit of a shame, but not too big of a deal. There is no silver trim around the visor once again, not too big of a deal. Overall, a more screen accurate look for this new helmet. But if you guys wanted to see, here it is with the older helmet on the newer figure. So after seeing this more streamlined helmet, it definitely does make the older one look a lot fatter than it actually is, but overall not too bad. You have the Mastodon Power Morpher going on right here. They did paint in the red this time like they did with the Walgreens exclusive. The figure is done in a very, give me a second while I adjust this camera. The figure is done in a very nice pearlescent black paint job. Not as see-through as the others, I would say, but there is a slight clear effect going on, like you can kind of see the abs of the inner mechanics of the figure itself. The diamonds on mine are painted in fairly nicely. Same thing with the arms and the boots. You got the back, which is kind of a shame. It is a little bit off. So it's not perfect back there, but not too big of a deal. You got the pearl white shoulder going on, just like the old figures. Once again, these are just like the old figures, just done in a new paint scheme with the newer helmet sculpt. So yeah, that is basically it for this figure. Let's go ahead and move on to the next figure. Alright guys, so moving on to the next figure in this set, we are going to go ahead and go with Billy the Metallic Blue Ranger. And before we get into him, let's get into his accessories. So you've already seen the Power Blaster. It is the exact same, nothing new there. He comes with his kind of like weapon holding hands on him out of box. You have his closed-fisted hands right here, a left and a right. So that is it. He does come with two sets of weapons. He comes with his Power Lance, one that is completely together, as you can see here, done in a nice little pearlescent blue with a metallic silver, painted in very nicely. And then you kind of have his daggers separated, so there's no middle section. Yeah, it is what it is. I think most people prefer it this way. I don't mind it. I would probably end up losing the middle piece anyways, so I prefer it where it's just this and then one separate thing. And then he comes with his little lightning effect, which honestly I don't think really makes sense for him, because like these weapons never really blasted anything that I am aware of. So you can just have it swirled around if you wanted to. Not too bad. Not the best, not the worst. Put that to the side. And then before I forget this one, he does come with Rocky's Zeo Power Crystal. Now, I do find it kind of weird how they arrange these. I get it. The blue one goes with the Blue Ranger, even though technically Billy never went and searched for a Zeo Crystal himself. So there you go. That is a nice triangle shape. Once again, it is made in that same glow-in-the-dark clear material. This will glow in the dark once it gets enough light in it. So yeah, not too bad. I don't know how these are going to form together, if they're even going to form together. So here you go. If you just want to see all of them together, there it is. And then last but not least, he comes with his unglasses head sculpt for Season 3. I think towards the end of Season 2, maybe beginning of Season 3, he got rid of the glasses. I know the actor himself never really liked the glasses, so I know he pushed hard to like not wear them, especially after the movie hit, where like I guess the people on the movies didn't care if he wore it or not, and I guess it just kind of followed through to the show. It's not bad. It definitely represents his Season 3 older, mature look a lot more. I don't know why they went with like this kind of like angry, grimace looking face. It doesn't really represent. I know David Yost has made comments about these head sculpts before and how he doesn't like them. I personally think they did a pretty good representation of him, and I feel like they're one of the more better ones. Now, it's not spot on, obviously. I mean, but honestly, I mean, you've seen Rockies. So, like, if you had to pick one that represented the figures themselves more, I would definitely say Billy is up there. So here you go. I mean, honestly, they probably could have just got away with, like, giving us a smiling face without glasses, and most people probably would not have complained. I don't know. But I feel like this Season 3 head sculpt does look really good. So go ahead and pull this off. Pop this on. And there you go. He does look like Billy, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong, but to me, I think it represents Billy really well. So yeah, there you go. That is all the accessories he comes with. Oh, actually, if you want to go ahead and see it, here is the Season 1 head sculpt on the Metallic Body Ranger. So, yeah, not too bad. I think this one sits a little low. Let me see again. I don't remember. Yeah, these newer head sculpts definitely sit a bit higher to like give it more of a neck look going on. So I definitely appreciate that. These older ones, I guess the whole socket just went in too deep and it sits down too far. But yeah, all right, let's go and get into the details of this figure. All right, so jumping into the details of this figure, just like all the other Rangers, it is the exact same body mold, just done in a very pearlescent plastic. This one obviously being the blue metallic paint. Very nice translucent look going on to him. And just like the Black Ranger, he does come with a new helmet sculpt. So let me go ahead and pull that off. So let me go ahead and get the other one too. So with this one, obviously, it's the same thing as the Black Ranger. The helmet visor is slimmed down to be more show accurate. Overall, I think the horns are a little bit shorter, but more pointy. The front tusk, I guess is what you would call it, is longer. Mouthpiece is done a little bit differently, not too different. It is just a little bit wider. It could be because this one's just not painted in all the way. But the visor is definitely shorter and narrower. They do have the silver outline still going on, which I don't understand why they couldn't do Zach's, but they did it for Billy. And just like Zach, they did change the color of the eyepiece, which kind of boggles me, because if they would just use the same like yellowish gold for what they did with the metallic black, it would have looked better than this orange if they weren't going to use the original gold, which is show accurate. So these helmets overall are still hit or miss with show accuracy. They are definitely on the better end of the spectrum of being more show accurate, but then they do stuff like this that kind of like boggles my mind. Why would they choose an orange color? Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, it matches the box art looking at it now. But in the show, it's actually a gold color. But once again, if they would have just chose like the yellow that they did for the Black Ranger, it would have been more show accurate. So that's not too bad. And then if you guys want to see it on the original body, there it is. As you can see, it definitely sits higher to show more of the neck off compared to the original one. And then if you want to see the original one on the newer body, as you can see, it sinks down so far that where it looks like it has no neck. So that's one thing to note. And if you wanted to see the new head sculpt on the original body, which there he goes, season 3 Billy, and you guys know Hasbro, like, they are definitely going to re-release it with the original colors with these new helmets, which I wouldn't mind. If we can get a definitive versions of these figures with the correct paint apps and the correct sizing of the helmets, that'd be great. But yeah, there you go. So getting into the details of the figure itself, once again, this one is done in a blue pearlescent metallic paint that is semi-see-through. The white diamonds on this one isn't painted as cleanly as my black one was. It is just a tad bit off. It looks like they overlaid it right here a bit. The power belt is done very nicely. You can kind of make out the Triceratops logo on there. The back is slightly off, not a big deal. You can really see how like clear the blue plastic is on this one. It's done very nicely. So yeah, overall another great figure. I'm moving through these really fast because they're basically all the same at this point. It's just showing off different colors and head sculpts. So on to the next figure. All right, so the third figure in this review will be the metallic Red Ranger Rocky. And honestly, right off the bat, you can already see the major difference in the corrected helmet sculpt. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at his accessories. So obviously, once again, he comes with his Blade Blaster in gun mode. Already seen that, no need to take a look at it. Same one. He comes with his two like weapon holding hands on him out of packaging. Then he comes also, just like the other two, just like Billy, not the other two. He comes with a set of closed-fisted hands. So those are very nice, once again. And then he comes with another version of the Power Sword. This one is done in a, it is, I guess it's, let me take a look. So it is done in like a very metallic red paint. It's not as translucent as the Ranger itself. Once again, it is done in like a color plastic with this handle being painted black, which is unfortunate because that will eventually rub off. And he comes with a lightning effect piece that we've seen before for this figure. You just kind of like wrap it around the sword. So that one actually looks pretty cool. not too bad. And then he comes with his, well, Zeo Crystal. Not his, actually. He comes with Tommy's 5-star or red, I'm sorry, let me start that over. It's been a long review. He comes with Tommy's Zeo Ranger 5, the Star Power Crystal. Once again, is an odd choice. Same with Billy having his. So technically, Billy, this one should have came with Rocky. Billy probably should have came with like the stone that holds it, and then Tommy should have came with his star. Kind of weird, but I get what they're going for. Blue for blue, red for red, even though that's technically not how it works. So now we have 4 out of the 5 Zeo crystals. Let me see if I can get them all in hand so I can show you guys. So we have Catherine's, we have Adams, we have Rocky's, and we have Tommy's. I don't know how they're going to make it kind of come together. I'm having a hard time figuring that out. But yeah, there you go. They all glow in the dark. I'll show you that towards the end of the video because I am dragging on here. And the last accessory he comes with is his new civilian head sculpt. Now, is this Steve Cardenas? I mean, I would say from some angles, maybe yes. It's definitely better than the original Zeo head sculpt, which I don't think looked like him at all. But there's definitely something in between of both of these that kind of resembles them and that kind of doesn't. This hair is definitely more from the season from when he appeared over this hairstyle. I honestly don't remember this hairstyle in Zeo. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it. But there you go. So let's go ahead and pop this head sculpt off. Pop his civilian one on. And that is how he looks with the civilian head sculpt. So it's not bad. It's not a terrible looking head sculpt. I just don't think it is him. So far out of the bunch, this one probably does not look like him. Adams looked like him. Billy looked like him. Steve just doesn't look like it. And if you want to see it, here he is with the old head sculpt on his Red Ranger suit. So not too bad. There you go. And if you wanted to, you know, here is personally what I think should have happened. I think Adam should have been the Red Ranger. To this day, we still have not gotten an Asian Red Power Ranger. I don't know if it's because it's Sentai thing where they already have a bunch of Asian leads, so they don't feel like they need to do it here in America. I don't know. Personally, this is what I wanted to see. Adam is one of my favorite Rangers of all times, and it is kind of sad that he never got promoted to the leader that he should have been. Even though they've definitely played him off as a very strong character, with him being the leader in the Operation Overdrive special. But enough of that. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at the details on this figure. So taking a closer look at this figure, obviously he is done in a very nice translucent pearlescent metallic red. Once again, the exact same body mold as we've seen before. And in fact, here he is next to the original release one. As you can see here, the major difference is this helmet sculpt. And I know there were actually some people saying they couldn't see a difference. Hopefully with this side by side, you can definitely see it. The original one just looked like this one if they squeezed it to a pinch. I know from the sides it's not as noticeable. The visor is obviously a bit shorter on the newer one. But the overall like width and height of the new head sculpt is leaps and bounds much better. And I feel like they basically just took the basic figure head sculpt and redesigned it for a Lightning Collection figure, because obviously if you guys remember that video where I showed you how you could take the old one off and put on the new one, it worked, but the hole was just bigger. And as you can see, it definitely sits higher on this because the peg or the hole on the inside sits lower, so it's not as deep into the helmet, so it gives these figures a neck, of which these were kind of missing. It looks like they almost have no neck. And if you wanted to, which I feel like most people are going to do, is take this off and pop it on the original one. And it is like enough to where, like, yes, it is a bit shinier and more metallic, but you can kind of get away with it if you wanted to see a more show accurate helmet on a non-metallic figure. And I think that works really well. You barely notice the metallic difference on camera. It just blends in with the red really well. In person, you can definitely notice a shiny metallic look, but overall, still not too bad. I think the only thing wrong with this one, in my opinion, is that they didn't paint the nose nostrils black, which isn't too big of a deal. They're so small in the show, you barely notice they're black anyways. And then another major difference is they have the silver striping going all the way through. Even though mine's painted on very, very lightly, it is there compared to this one where it's missing altogether. So there you guys go. If you wanted a Red Ranger helmet and couldn't get your hands on the Amazon exclusive 3-pack, this is definitely one way to get it. It's a more expensive way to get it if you guys are impatient, but we all know Hasbro. They will be re-releasing this set in normal colors with the corrected head sculpts. Honestly, if they do, I do hope that they just release it in like a 5-pack or a 6-pack rather, or maybe even a 7-pack, you know, a white and a green. I don't know what they're going to do. If they release it in a single again, they release it in a single again, maybe in a 2-pack. Who knows? All I know is I do hope we get these corrected helmet sculpts for these show accurates in a normal color soon. So yeah, as far as detailing goes, like I said, he is done in a very nice clear metallic paint. The diamonds on mine are painted pretty decent on this one, not too bad. The helmet is done very nicely. The sculpting is amazing. Once again, the diamonds on his hands are done very nicely. The belt, you can kind of make out that it's a Tyrannosaurus. Not really, but it is the faint reminiscence of a T-Rex that's there. The back, once again, is painted on a little bit sloppily. Once again, no big deal because you won't see the back at all. But on the back, well, I guess on the front too, but like this figure out of all of them, I feel like you can really see the metallic on it. I mean, you can definitely see the metallics on all of them. But the metallics on this one is definitely a lot more prominent on this red translucent color. And I think, honestly, out of all of them, this is probably my favorite figure. Mainly because the helmet sculpt redesign is so drastic that it basically changes the figure itself. So yeah, enough of that. Let's move on to the last figure in this set. All right, and the last figure in this set is Aisha the Yellow Ranger. This is our second Aisha that we have gotten this year. So this is definitely the year of the Pink Rangers and the Aisha Ranger, I guess. Said that wrong. But anyways, so before we get into her, let's take a look at her accessories. So once again, she comes with her Power Blaster in gun mode. Same thing there. She comes with her weapon holding hands on her out of packaging. And then she comes with 2 extra karate chop hands. So that's kind of unique. I don't think I've ever seen a female get 2 karate chop hands. Or maybe it's just one always been on. I don't know. Anyway, she has 2 extra karate chop hands. One left, one right. And then she comes with her what are these? The daggers, the saber-tooth daggers, done in the also very metallic yellow paint. So these are done very nicely as well, just silver and yellow going across there. And then it comes with the same effect piece we've seen for the Yellow Ranger over and over again. You just kind of have to like find the little porthole in there somewhere. Duh, I've seen it so many times. Anyway, so there it goes. Nothing we haven't seen before. It has both on both sides, so if you just, whichever side you want, there it is. Nothing new, nothing less. And then we have her new Season 3 head sculpt, which in my opinion, doesn't look like her as much as the first one did. I think her first head sculpt definitely looks like her a lot more. It definitely lends more towards her facial features. So I don't know why they just didn't do her original head sculpt with new hair. But it's not terrible. The hair itself is done very nicely. It does seem like it would probably get in the way of like any like up articulation. So let's find out. You just pop this on. If it'll pop on. So yeah, it definitely looks good on her. It definitely hinders movement going up. So that's kind of a bummer. We'll get into that more with articulation. But overall, not too bad of a head sculpt. The hair detailing and sculpting is done amazing, in my opinion. That's probably worth it alone. And then it does kind of make it hard to pull off since you can't like lean it back. If you want to see her with her first appearance head sculpt on this body, there she is like so. So yeah, not too bad. But yeah, that is basically it for the accessories. What do you say we go ahead and jump into the details of the figure? So jumping into the details of this figure, obviously she is probably the least show accurate out of all of them, because when she does turn into her metallic armor, she is definitely more of a gold ranger. And it wasn't as prominent on her costume as much as it was her helmet. Her helmet was basically just repainted gold for the show. And speaking of helmet sculpts, I believe she is the only one out of this set that did not get a redesign of the helmet sculpt. As I can tell, it is basically the exact same helmet sculpt. I could be wrong. It may be the daggers are a little bit longer, or it could just be painted longer. I don't know. But either way, it is so close to the original release that it really doesn't even warrant much talking about as the others one did, because overall, once again, is the exact same body mold. Actually, you know what? It is different because it sits higher. As you can tell, this one has a neck, this one doesn't. So I don't know what it is. I guess it is a redesign. If I can just pop it off. These newer helmets, compared to these older ones, I don't know what it was, but they just like hide the neck so much. So if you wanted Rangers with necks, you're definitely going to have to get these newer helmet sculpts, which are only coming to metallic Rangers thus far. So this is basically what I mean. She has no neck with the original helmet sculpt. And then once you pull it off, put on the new one, and voila, she looks like a normal person. So there you go. As far as detailing goes, she's once again done in a very nice pearlescent clear yellow paint. You can kind of see the ab sculpting through the translucent plastic. That's pretty cool. This one is also painted more so decently compared to the other one. So this one is straight. The diamonds on the chest are done very nicely. The diamonds on the arms and the legs are done very nicely. Now, this is the gold that she was in the show. So that's actually kind of funny that this one matches just fine. It would have been kind of funny if they did what they did in the show, just painted her helmet this gold. That would have been cool. But, I mean, I prefer this because it matches the other Rangers. So I'm okay with it. Even though it's not 100% show accurate, it matches the other ones in this set. So yeah, there you go. That is the metallic Rangers in all their glory. I don't know if this is dragging on or if I'm just kind of rushing through it. But either way, let's go ahead and jump into, well, some size comparisons. All right, and here we have the metallic Rangers standing next to their regular release counterparts. As you can see, they do stand just a tad bit taller than the original versions because the ball or the helmet sculpts do sit a tad bit higher on the neck joints than the original ones did. As I had mentioned, I do hope, and I never hope for re-releases, but I do hope that when they do finally re-release the new helmet sculpts in like the normal suit costume colors, that they will just release it in like a 5-pack or a 6-pack or a 7-pack, however they do it, to have like a definitive version of the MMPR figures. I know like a lot of people are tired of MMPRs, which is why I hope they don't do it soon, but I do hope they do it sooner rather than later, because I do feel like the Metallic Rangers are more of they're currently the definitive versions of the figures themselves. Like the helmet sculpts are correct, or as correct as they can be so far. They do sit higher. They do look better overall. So these look great in my opinion. And honestly, it's kind of a shame that we don't have the more current head sculpt for the Pink Ranger that comes in the new GameStop 2-pack, because that one is more screen accurate itself. This one is just obviously a retool or a redeco of the original one. Which isn't too bad in my opinion. It definitely lends itself better to like a comic book version, but it's still not too bad. But overall, I do kind of wish we would have had this one come out more recently with the newer helmet sculpt. So that's kind of a little bit of a shame. But overall, not too bad. Still nice to finally have like the almost complete Metallic Rangers. We're just waiting on Tommy and to see what he comes with. All right, and here we have the rest of the team next to Catherine, the first release that we got in this set or series of Metallic Rangers, and it is nice to have a core team complete. So all we need is Tommy, and if you want to, you just kind of like slide the regular Tommy in the back, even though he's not metallic. Honestly, I really can't wait till to see that one. I think that one's going to turn out very lovely. And then to compare him to some other Season 3 stuff that we have released, here he is next to the retro carded Ninjor. And then a Tango Warrior, basically because this is the only thing that I have left to compare him. And the Tango Warrior itself is already about half an inch taller than the figures themselves, and these already sit about a quarter inch taller than the original ones. So I think they scale just a tiny bit better now for a foot soldier. But yeah, this review has gone on long enough, in my opinion. I don't feel like you guys need to see articulation. It has all the same articulation as any other standard Ranger figures. It has, well, let's see if the, oh, sorry, that is not how I wanted that to go. Let's see, since the pegs are, these balls do sit are, so yeah, you do get a little side to side out of these helmets now. So that is very, oh, actually, no. You get more than you usually do, but for some reason, Rockies seem to have a lot more than Adams. Billy has some side-to-side, not a lot. Aisha has a lot of side-to-side. So out of the figures in this set, Kimberly has a little bit, so but not as much. So it seems like the ones that has the most side-to-side movements out of these new helmet sculpt is Rocky and Aisha. They all have butterfly joints. Females have single jointed elbows. The males have double knees on both, swivels, upper diaphragm, abs. All the same, it's just the female has single jointed elbows and no or upper thigh swivels. So yeah, that is it, guys. This has been a long video. I'm pretty sure I am gathering on the 20+ minute side of things. But yes, so remember to always like, comment, subscribe. It doesn't cost you guys anything. It really helps this channel out. And until next time, guys, later.